Hello and welcome to the FBL Double Up. I always go to say FPL ways and I end up saying FBL. I don't think anyone hears it but me, but I always feel obliged to tell people that I've been an idiot. Welcome to the FPL Double Up podcast on Fantasy Football Hub. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a couple of weeks. You've either loved the international breaks or you've hated them. I don't know. I used to hate them, then I started to kind of enjoy the break. And now I hate them again because Ireland are doing shit and we're not going to the World Cup. So, how'd you find it, Wiz?
Yeah, I'm a bit like you. I used to hate it, but now I'm full time FPL. It is nice to have a little break every now and again. So yeah, I'm happy having it and feel refreshed, ready to go for. Well, this week's actually going to be really difficult. I don't know how you're finding it for your transfers, John, but I'm all up in the air with what I'm doing. I have no idea yet.
Oh, I play a lot of fantasy games within the Premier League, outside the Premier League, and this week is known, or is just it's becoming its thing. It's the worst week ever, I think, for not knowing who's playing, because with the internationals, there's COVID restrictions, and it's early in the season. There's players who have just recently betted into teams, i.e. Ronaldo. There's a lot of sort of variables there, a lot of players there's a lot of uncertainty about. So we're kind of getting to that stage where, particularly for this week, well, not that you're going to change your whole team up for this week unless you're wildcarding, but a strong bench is it's looking important.
Yeah, there's all sorts we're going to touch on the 8 Brazilian players that might miss out. There's also, again, I'm not an expert on this part at all because COVID's all still relatively new, but there's something along the lines of those players who aren't double vaccinated. We don't know who they are because it's kind of confidential medical information that people don't share, but they might have to, we don't know it yet, but they might come back and have to isolate or not be able to play if they're not double vaccinated. So there's just all sorts going on, and there's press conferences going on this morning and as we speak. So yeah, later on tonight is the time for me when I'm going to be nailing down my own team.
Am I right in saying there's Champions League fixtures next week too?
I think so.
I think there's Champions League, and it's not something that might be talked about that much, and it isn't as big a thing in Europe's sort of top 5 leagues, including the Premier League, where, if you go to lesser leagues, or even if you go to Italy, if you go to France, like PSG, you can be sure PSG will be rotating because they're going to prioritise the Champions League over playing Angers or someone. I don't even know, they could be playing Lyon this week, I don't know. But
I know what you mean,
in the Premier League, Pep might have that little bit more rotation. Maybe Liverpool, a few players win international duty. Klopp will think, you know what, these guys have been in international duty with Champions League next week. The rotation's going to be a killer on top of the vaccines, on top of everything else. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of just a cesspit of rotation, so let's have fun. I'm hoping everyone has terrible weeks and I just hit the jackpot because I need to claw back some rank. But
exactly, it's going to be carnage, but it's the same for everyone. So, us more people watching this are engaged FPL managers. We obviously are as well, so we should have the upper hand on those people who aren't as engaged.
Absolutely. Well, look, big thanks as always to all of you for watching, for jumping in the comments, for dropping likes in the video. Please do so if you haven't already. FPL Rubber Ducky, loyal watcher of the show, quacking in the comments straight off the bat. I love it. Shreejan Rout is there. This podcast is not by Fergie, unless... Oh no, I was going to throw a hair joke at Fergie, but I don't know him that well. I don't know if he takes those jokes well or not.
I'll tell him later.
You might watch, Fergie, if you're watching. Hello, my friend. FPL Gold, RM's here, Sandy Hassan, Richie PFPL. And whenever the shout-outs start, as all the comments start coming in because people want their names, and then I can never get to the bottom. So you need to get in there first. Ryan Stanton, I think I already said Rich. N. Lim, FPL Hazards, Stein, Deadly Mantis, Nathan Wood, James Keatley, James Wilson, Wilson-ish. Ooh, Jerome is here. Deadly Mantis, Jawad, Dan Bailey, Harry Dawson. That's as much as I'm doing. Blue is the colour. Welcome, FPL wannabe. Welcome. Thank you so much.
Well done.
It's great seeing you in the comments. Now, you might have asked a load of questions there. Bear in mind, at the end of the show, we do quick-fire questions. We'll answer as many of your questions as we can. There'll be A or B style questions, yes or no style questions. But before then, we have a lot to talk about, Wes. To give people an idea, we're going to discuss these absentees from who were on international duty. We're going to look at a few fixtures of teams. We're going to look at some big stats that a lot of people have their eyes on. And if we have time, we'll look at our teams. We're not one of those self-indulgent podcasts where we're going to focus on that. But if we have time, we may as well briefly touch on it. We'll finish with a quick fire. Right, I've done a lot of talking. Wes, do you want to tell us a little thing that happened to you this week? You're not the same man since the last time we seen you.
No. So two things for me. I was on the official FPL show yesterday, which was, and I'll see a few people saying congrats in the chat. So thanks for that, guys. Yeah, so I was on the official FPL show. They've tweeted about it. I've plastered it all over my Twitter naturally. And I've got a tattoo as well of my Heisenberg. You haven't seen it yet, John, either, of my Heisenberg avatar that you can probably see, obviously, on my Twitter. And but we were chatting off air, John, weren't we, that we should have used the picture you did as the forfeit last year because that was a beautiful, beautiful piece of artwork. But no, I went for the just basically a replica, a copy of my Twitter picture.
Did you get a blue ring, or is it just the avatar?
I didn't. I didn't. Just the avatar. I went in. Yeah, the picture I sent him initially did have it. Then when I was in there, I was like, you know what? I don't think I want that. So
yeah, because I mean, what if Hub decide they don't like you anymore?
Yeah, exactly.
You've got the light blue Hub, then Will, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, and I will if we get. Actually, no. I've asked for likes and retweets on Twitter, and people accuse me of milking it, which is true. But yeah, I'll put up proper pictures and videos on Twitter on Saturday, and I might even flash it at the end of this video if you guys are lucky.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, isn't it, where, like, do you know, if you're ever going to milk anything, it's getting a bloody tattoo.
I know. But, I deserve it. I deserve to milk it. I've got a tattoo on me for life. It's not one of those. I think you can get tattoos that are like, someone told me, get one that just lasts 12 months. But I was like, no, I've said I'll get the real thing, so I'll do it. This is on me for the rest of my life.
I have two tattoos. I've one here. That's like, it looks like a Superman logo. But
I'll see it in a few seconds.
That wasn't on purpose. Oh, you won't. Yeah, you'll see it in a few seconds. Everyone else can see it.
Yeah.
But it's actually like the silhouette of the mountains I'm from. Why can I not work this out? Jeez, this is awkward. Anyway, the mountains where I live and like the sea in front. And then I have like a really dodgy one I got with all the lads, but all the lads have it and it's like under this arm.
I see it now, yeah.
But anyway, you'll see me struggling nowadays. But yeah, another thing, but you know what we never do? We never plug. Like, well, we do plug Hub when we say, like, Hub does great content, you know, subscribe to the channel and whatever, go and check out Hub if you want to, you know, everything that Hub offers, the content hub that it is. But we never actually point people to sign up via our link, Wes. So, people, if you are going to think of joining Hub and you do enjoy our content, do us a favour, use the link we have in the description of the YouTube videos, because that'll benefit us. You know, we'll get paid, we get commissions, affiliates and all that. So if you haven't joined Hub, there's a lot there. Wes does a lot of content for them. Wes, maybe you can describe better what Hub offers, but definitely worth thinking of joining.
Yeah, so obviously we've only both been on Hub's YouTube for, I don't know, towards the end of last season, but I've been part of Hub's content writing team and run their socials now and stuff like that for the last I've just seen a comment about the FPL show that's made last derailed me. Yeah, so what Hub offer is one of the leading FPL websites, and you know it's grown. I joined Hub and started writing for them back in 2018 when it was kind of like a startup, and now it's just absolutely flying. You guys probably already know this, like it's Hub and Scout are the main two FPL websites, and yeah, Hub's just honestly, you know. I'm going to say this because I'm part of Hub, but it is genuinely really good, and it is something I genuinely use. I use the Hub app pretty much every day. I don't make any transfers without it. You can check all the Opta stats on there. We've got some Opta stats coming up later on in the stream, actually, which kind of shows you what you can get on the Opta section, the comparison tool, all the articles from people who have got better finishes. Well, I do a team reveal as well, but there's people on there who have got crazy finishes. FPL Generals does a team reveal. FPL Salah, who's got crazy ranks, Rich Clark, loads of amazing people on there. So yeah, I love it genuinely, and I don't just say that because I work for them. So yeah, sign up with the link in the description, which is linked to me at the minute, but I will change that as soon as I can, hopefully later today. So if you're watching this after the fact, you can sign up, and it will benefit me and John.
Wonderful. Now there's the biggest plug in the world ever for Hub. We've well and truly done our duty, Wes.
And that wasn't planned either.
It wasn't planned. I threw it at us like, I kind of thought, we never do it, and I just remembered it. Anyway, right, time for pure FPL talk for like, I don't know, an hour or something. So, first topic on the agenda that I have, because it's one that it's wrecking everyone's heads.
Yeah.
Particularly, like, I mean, look, if people are diehard, they're a shark, they're swimming in the waters, they're all about FPL. Maybe they've kind of got it figured out and they've moved on. But for a lot of people who are dipping in for a kind of deadline-y type stream, something near the end, they want to see what the story is. Will Buendia play? Will Rafinha play? Will Alisson play? They want to know some of these FPL players, will they play?
Yeah.
What is the gist of it now? I mean, you've sent me something there. I'll just read it off. It's a tweet from Fantasy Football Hub about the 8 players that have been banned by FIFA for Game Week 4. With Ederson, who'll be owned by some, Gabriel Jesus, who has become a bit of a recent sort of facet of some teams with his play down the right. Alisson will be in some teams, albeit a lot of the diehard FPL players won't have Alisson or Ederson, but a lot of the casuals will. Firmino is in some teams. Rafinha's in a lot of teams. Fred, if you have him, I hope you aren't watching this and I hope you play him. You deserve it. Thiago Silva, I mean...
Delete the team.
Yeah, delete your team. So yeah, they're the ones off from Brazil, and then we obviously have Martinez and Buendia of Argentina, who are highly owned.
Yeah, so those two you just mentioned there before I get back to the Brazil players, they are definitely out this game week. The Villa managers confirmed that this morning as well, so they are definitely missing. Whereas the Brazilian players, it seemed like FIFA definitely banned them. Now the Premier League and the clubs are trying to fight it, and I keep seeing respected journalists who keep updating this, basically saying there's still no resolution yet, and the players still don't know if they're going to be playing. And obviously it's Friday now, the game week deadline's tomorrow, so this is what I've been preaching all week, to save your transfers until Friday night, or maybe even Saturday morning, because news might break then. I just don't know. So yeah, there's no definitive answer yet. They may get away with it, they may not. The main FPL asset there, I'd probably say, is Rafinha, in terms of, I guess he's the most highly owned. But in terms of sort of, if you've got Trent and you're hoping for a clean sheet, without Fabinho and Alisson, Trent's promise this game week sort of diminishes, doesn't it? So there's that sort of effect as well. And with Man City, if you've got their defenders, Scott Carson might be in goal this week, so you might be thinking, it could affect you in that way. I'm not necessarily saying go ahead and bench Trent or bench Diaz or something like that, but just so if this does happen, it could have a negative effect on some of your players.
Absolutely. It's one of those that, we're recording this from 12 o'clock noon on the Friday, and I mean, I think today will be the big media day for a lot of this stuff, where a lot of things are kind of, I don't even know if they'll be clarified before the games, but if they're going to be, it'll be today, maybe early tomorrow morning. So like, all we can do is kind of throw out what we know at the minute. But bottom line is, strap yourself in for some benchings, 0 minutes all over the place this week. Even from other players. I genuinely ways, just to double down on that point, I think coming back from international duty with Champions League next week, the bigger teams and teams that can afford to bench players, there's going to be a bit going on there.
Yeah, exactly. And just on this same topic as well, there's also Almiron from Newcastle. Again, he's not in many teams, but he was one of those that was kind of might he play, might not sort of thing, but he's been cleared. And I think Steve Bruce said something like common sense prevailed or something. And there's also talks of maybe Jimenez again falling into this sort of category as well. So there's just so much up in the air that you've just got to wait and see. I mean, unless you're on a wild card, then you can tinker as much as you want. But I mean, making early transfers this game week is just, and even right now, I'd consider now early. Most weeks, Friday lunchtime, I'd say, yeah, go for it after the press conferences. But I'll be doing mine tomorrow morning, I'm almost sure. Maybe late tonight, sort of 10 p.m. But yeah, that's just me.
I'm leaving my transfers absolute last minute. Permanently temporary has said I'm sweating on Son. Any update would be nice if it's positive. I have Son, which is the reason I went out of my way to ask this one. I haven't heard too much, but
yeah, not sure on that.
Yeah, that's where it gets messy. Like,
yeah, keep an eye out. Again, I think his Tottenham's press conference is going to be today, or it might have already happened. But yeah, just keep an eye on that, because he's such a big player as well. It should be all over Twitter, and you should be able to Google it fairly easily if a manager said a comment about it. So yeah, you should be able to find out that pretty easily in the next few hours.
Well, look, bottom line is, it has to be ear to the ground in a lot of these international players, particularly the ones aforementioned. But best of luck navigating it this week. Yeah. Do you know what we should have discussed? Maybe if we've time at the end, Wes, instead of looking at our teams, maybe we'll draft the wildcard squad. Maybe. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. I didn't discuss this with you before. I've just seen a lot of people are wildcarding, and I've seen a couple of comments already with their wildcard. So, look, we can make the call on that later. It's not nailed. It's only if we fancy it and we'll have time later. Okay, will we jump over to a couple of the fixtures?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, okay, so I don't know if I have something up here already. I don't. So, first up, Wolves fixtures. A lot of people are talking about Wolves, particularly their defence. Adama Traore, I've also seen thrown out there a lot because he's looked amazing apart from his finishing. Yeah. Surprise, surprise. It looked for a while last season like he might have fixed a bit of it, but no, he definitely hasn't. So they've Watford away, Brentford, Southampton, Newcastle, then you have Villa and Leeds, Everton, Palace, West Ham, Norwich, Burnley. I mean, fixture lists for like 10 weeks don't get much better than that, do they? Is that 11 weeks?
11 weeks, yeah, and like you said, it doesn't get much better. I know the sort of fixture difficulty ranking thing, don't pay attention to that really, especially, Everton at home. I mean, yeah, so don't pay too much attention to that. As, like you said, that is as good as it comes, and even in the short term, it's really good. So, even if you don't want to keep them that long term, you can have them for 4 to 6 weeks, and they've still obviously got amazing fixtures now. It's hard to judge their form, isn't it? They've lost all 3 of their first games 1-0, but that was Leicester, United, and Spurs, I think, wasn't it? I haven't got that to hand actually. I could be wrong on that, but it was 3 difficult teams. Only lost 1-0 each. Have good stats in terms of the sort of XG stats and the XG conceded. So they're doing okay overall. Just not had that finishing touch. And we know what football's like. It is fine margins, isn't it? Like Spurs beat them because of a penalty. So one slip up from them, and then they got away with some good keeping from Lloris, made that a 1-0 game, if you know what I mean. So yeah, players like. There's a lot of good defensive options, I feel. Sace at 5.0, Semedo 4.9, Cody 4.5. They could be some good cheap options. For my own team, I've got a lot of problems in defence. I've got Simicast, I've got Amati, who's about to lose his place. I've got Kiko Feminir. So my defence is pretty awful at the minute, so I need to bring in a defender. So I might look at Wolves, to be honest. One of those guys I just mentioned. Trincao, Traore midfield. For me, I want to actually see them. It's sometimes nice to be an early adopter and get on these players before they start hitting their halls. But at the same time, I do want to see a little bit of form from those guys, especially Traore, in terms of how erratic. He's so exciting to watch and he's a brilliant player, but then just doesn't have that end product, does he? And we know
one of them has to go in soon. One of them has to go in.
Yeah,
he's had enough of them.
But I think I saw something the other day that, like, over the years, he's had barely any double-digit sort of returns in FPL. He's just been such an underperforming asset for his ability in FPL. So I kind of feel like, is that going to change? Like you said, I think there was a stage at one stage he kept assisting. I think 2 seasons ago now. Yeah, he kept assisting Jimenez, which was they were a really nice partnership. And his crossing did become good. So his teammates have to start conceding for him to get assists. Obviously, then if he improves, like you say, his shooting, then he could become good. But I don't know. I want to wait and see for them myself, for those two. What are your thoughts on that, John?
I was impressed watching him with his ability. Like, his ability to get to the byline and actually get the ball in the box is good. He is great. Yeah. He is decent at crossing the ball. Make no mistake.
Stands it up well, yeah.
But his finishing, I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm pretty sure now, someone's going to troll me in the comments if I get this wrong, but I'm about 95% sure he came up through the Barcelona academy. So, like, you'd think technically it should be there. His finishing is just not. I don't know.
He was definitely at Barcelona. I'm not sure if it was the academy or not, but he was definitely had a spell there. And I think you're right. I think it's another thing about his decision making. Like, when he gets to the byline and his only choice is to cross, he can cross it nice. He stand it up for Jimenez, and when Jimenez was scoring loads of headers, he was getting assists. But obviously now Jimenez isn't quite there yet. But with Cho, he was running past like loads of Man United players in the game, like awesome. And then he had 2 options to pass it, left or right. The player on the left was pretty heavily marked, and the player on the right was free. He passed it to the marked player. Yeah. Another time, he was on the edge of the box again. Semedo was free in the area. If he'd laid him in, Semedo would have had a shot on goal, but he shot from distance and dragged it wide. When even if he kind of scores, it's almost like it wouldn't have justified the decision to shoot, if you know what I mean. But it would have. But I mean, the right decision there was the pass because the player was in such a better position, and he just chose to shoot. So he's still, when he's got a decision to make between pass it to player A or B, or shoot or pass, then he struggles. When he can just cross it, when he's running down that byline, he can't shoot, so he has to cross it. He can put in a good cross. But yeah, he just needs to sort out his decision making and his finishing ability or skills, whatever you want to call it. And he could then become an absolute monster option. But I'm just not prepared to go for that option, go for that gamble now when you've got the likes of Torres and Jota, who aren't that much more expensive. You've got Ben Rama, similar price. You've got maybe Damari Gray and Conor Gallagher a bit cheaper. You've got Sarr, who's about 6 million, who he's only scored one goal this season, but still, I feel like I'd feel a bit more comfortable with Sarr in my team than Traore.
Yeah. So I think for Wolves, if we're happy to kind of move on, we've discussed their attacking assets that you're really going to consider, and defence is where you're probably looking here, particularly in a wild card. I'm not going to like tear up my team to get a Wolves defender in, but if I'm on a wild card, I'd be considering at least one of them.
And another thing to add on to that, I'm seeing wildcard drafts with 3 Wolves players in because of obviously the fixtures. I mean, they are good. For me, that's just too much of a gamble, too much risk. I'd go for probably only 1, to be honest, maximum 2. I wouldn't be tripling up on Wolves. It's just too much of a gamble. And if they don't perform, you're stuck with 3 of them. So I wouldn't be tripling up on Wolves. We haven't really spoke about Jimenez that much, but I'll just finish this segment off and then we'll move on to Arsenal by saying that I do believe in Jimenez. I liked him before his injury. He's not quite looking himself. His stats are reading one of 2 ways in terms of he's having a lot of shots in the box and he's creating a lot of chances, but he's not creating the big chances and he's not getting many shots on target either. So he still has to convince me a little bit, especially as there's loads of other strikers I prefer. Antonio, DCL, Ronaldo, Lukaku. So any 3 of those 4 that I just mentioned, I'd rather have over Raul Jimenez at the minute myself.
Yeah, like I had it in my head, like, and I knew of Jimenez. In my head, I just don't think he's an option at the minute, and it's for all those reasons. There's just better options at that price, but there just are. So like, good luck if you go with Jimenez. I mean, he could punish us, he could punish me, but I just don't think, exactly as you say, he just doesn't look there yet. And I don't want to hold his injury against him. You know, people have a lot of mental fortitude. He come back from that injury, and I'm sure he'll be back to his best. And maybe he is, and maybe it's just that kind of variance. Maybe he's not doing the best. Maybe he's out of form, and we're just kind of all blaming it on his injury. But I mean, like, I don't know. For me, he just wouldn't even remotely come into my thinking at the minute, based on what we've seen. Yeah. I'm pulling up the Arsenal fixtures. Ways they're
cool.
Equally as good, not as long a spell, but I mean Norwich, Burnley, Spurs. Obviously, because Arsenal are rated a bit higher on this fixture ticker, Spurs come up as like a grey fixture instead of red. For Wolves, that would have been considered probably hard as per this FDR thing, the fixture difficulty rating. So Spurs, Brighton, Crystal Palace, Villa, Leicester, Watford. So yeah, they're solid, but are Arsenal?
Yeah, I'm usually very anti-Arsenal in terms of FPL assets. I don't usually go there over the last few years, and nothing's really changed for me. And I won't be bringing in an Arsenal asset. However, you know, there's definitely an argument for these fixtures going for bringing in, say if you are on a wild card or you're looking to bring in a defender, Ben White, 4.4 million, is now over. I think he missed a game through COVID or something, but he's over that now, I believe. And he's only 4.4 million. And he's got that good fixture. And we know Arsenal started the season horribly. They have had, obviously, not an easy start to the season. They are a club in a bit of disarray, I guess. But so that's why, you know, I am definitely put off them. But someone like him, for me, I'd probably only consider 2 assets: Ben White and Smith Rowe, who's possibly 5.4 now. Just for value, I think Smith Rowe's an excellent player and would be, you know, if he was in a better team, he'd be doing really well. So yeah, any other assets outside of those 2, or do you want to disagree with those 2 assets, John, at all? Or
no, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't go for them, but I understand why people might. The fixtures are there. If it's if it's budget you're looking at, I do get it. They're not bad, but it wouldn't be first choice for me. I just think like 2-0 losses followed by a 5-0 loss. Okay, they won like 6-0 in the cup or something, but like they just don't look convincing enough to me. And Pepe jumps up at times. I have him in like a draft league I'm playing, albeit I was 10th in the draft. It's a very non-serious draft. It's not a proper diehard one. There's 10 people in it. That says it all. And I picked him because I thought he looked good in pre-season, but I don't think that's really translated into their first few games. And when I say don't really, it absolutely hasn't, obviously, with not scoring a goal. But Tierney, a lot of people are saying in the comments.
Yeah, I was about to say that, I mean, I do like Tierney. Tierney is an attacking option, and I remember of last season a few standout games, especially West Brom away. He was excellent, and I think he got a clean sheet, goal, 2 assists. It might this could be a myth, and I could be talking rubbish, but for me, he feels like, excuse me, an injury-prone player who seems to have these ongoing issues. I remember, I think I had him on a free hit last year, and he ended up being randomly injured. So yeah, I preferred. The reason I brought up Ben White is he is a player cheap enough that you can kind of bench him. Whereas with Tierney, is Tierney 4.9? I'll just double check that. But yeah, for me, again, I don't want to, because of the fixtures.
He's 4.9.
Yeah, because of the fixtures, I'm not going to talk anyone out of Tierney. And if I was to seriously consider bringing an Arsenal asset defensively, I would weigh up Ben White versus Tierney, and maybe after all that time researching it, I might actually change my mind and go for Tierney. But right now, yeah, he just doesn't appeal for someone at 4.9. But again, we all have we literally all have so many biases, me included, and I've had biases against players before, and they have helped me because they've been, it's been right to have that bias against them almost, but it's also hindered people. Like last year, lots of people were like, no, Lingard's like, because he just got loads of jokes made about Lingard, he hadn't got a goal or assist for years or whatever. Everyone's like, no, I'm never touching Lingard. And he obviously punished people. So, Tierney could do that to me. Tierney could easily get a huge haul this weekend, goal, assist and clean sheet against Norwich. And I look stupid. But yeah, I've just got my reasons why I'm against him, whether they're right or wrong. It's up to you to decide.
I'm just kind of against Arsenal defence in general. Like, look at the fixtures. I get it. But it's one of those, if you're in a wild card and you need a budget defender, okay. Like, yeah, okay, go and consider it. Stick one on your bench or something. Maybe White's the better option there because of the budget. But at the same time, they've conceded like 10 goals in 3 games and they haven't scored a goal. Like, they look in disarray. I mean, go and have, like, bon voyage, best of luck. But I mean, it's just not for me at the minute. There are just better options.
And with Wolves had 3 tough games and only lost to 1-0 each, and like we said, they've been fairly unfortunate. Whereas with Arsenal, yes, they've had 2 tough games, but one of them was also Brentford, which I know they were newly promoted. Brentford were at home and they were galvanised and all that, but I don't see a Chelsea or a Man City or a Liverpool would have gone to Brentford on game at 1 and got destroyed like Arsenal did. Because Brentford looked very dangerous against Arsenal. Like the goals they scored were just like schoolboy defending, like a header at the back post, wasn't it? That Arsenal let bounce through their box from a throw-in, I think it was. Just like a pathetic goal to concede, really. So that's why, like I said at the start of this piece, that I wouldn't go for an Arsenal asset, but I can see the argument to them. So yeah, I guess it's your people watching their own choice there if they fancy Arsenal, fancy the fixtures.
And as Harry's mentioned in the comments, like, it's fair, they have played Chelsea, they have played Man City. I mean, 2 of the toughest teams in the league this season. And I get it. Norwich, I mean, don't get me wrong, that Norwich fixture, absolutely. I mean, if you can afford the transfer, if you have a player already, keep him for the Norwich fixture. I would. Yeah. But in saying that, I would feel hesitant to go getting people in. I know those are the teams, but I mean, Burnley, Tottenham, particularly Brighton as well. Brighton could score. Palace have just scored they've just signed a cracking forward. Couldn't get that out of my mouth. Villa are scoring goals. Leicester are scoring goals. It's one of those. Look, you're right about the biases.
The fixtures aren't as good as Wolves. Again, it's almost better to cut out those colours on the left and right and actually just look at it yourself and think, how many clean sheets are actually there for them. I'd say they should get a few, shouldn't they, really? But yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, look, it's one of those. People are going to feel one way, people are going to feel the other. I wouldn't be going there. Speaking of biases, Wes, before we move on, it seems like everyone apart from me is biased against Chris Wood. But the big man stepped up last week and got some points.
He did. I tweeted him out, didn't I, saying that everyone owes you an apology because he's done better than some of the strikers and he's had some tough fixtures as well. So
he got the goal, he got the 3 bonus.
Yeah, and you got a lot of
I got a lot of abuse.
Yeah.
Now, in fairness, the abuse was definitely warranted and it was definitely fair, and it did take him 3 weeks. But look, Chris Wood's on it. Chris Wood is back on his game. I can't wait for more abuse. I also got abuse last week, Wes. I got a lot of abuse over double confirming with you and not being 100% on the whole wild card transfer thing.
Oh yeah.
I
can be
get it, but I
confusing.
mean, like, look, for people who are newly watching, look, we've nearly 500 people here now. You need to realize that from our whole podcast, the whole thing was that I was that guy who played FPL with my mates for like 10 years, and like last season was the first season I really took it serious. Wes is the FPL full-time content creator pro. This is very much like the Egypt and the smart guy, and that's kind of what we're doing. I bring the charisma, Wes brings the good looks and the FPL knowledge. That's kind of what we've got going on.
I'm not sure about the first one, but yeah. And also, also it's for everyone watching out there. John is meant to be, the kind of, like you said, the everyman. So maybe people who are watching this who aren't banging into FPL and don't know every sort of rule in and out. And if John asks that question that's on other people's minds, and I can correct John / give the information to the listener, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So yeah,
that's the vibe we go for.
Exactly. And there's loads of little things in FPL which is kind of like a bit confusing, where you have to read. It doesn't come up that often and can be confusing. It's just how it is.
Absolutely. So exactly. So Wes, we'll move on. Which stat do you want up first? We've got one on key passes, shots in the box, shots on target.
Whatever you want, actually.
We'll start with key passes, will we?
Yeah, I was going to say that as well. Yeah, so
we'll
key passes.
Get closer to goal. We'll go.
And again, sorry, I was just going to say this is from Hub's Opta section. In terms of the graphics like this don't display in quite this way, but yeah, this is the data taken from Hub's Opta section. And the reason why I liked this one along with another one is, as I was saying earlier, Raul Jimenez does come up in these metrics, but it's all about, with stats like this, it's not as simple as looking at a stat like that and saying, okay, Jimenez is creating chances, he must go into my team, and he's got shots. You've got to look at it with context and saying, okay, he's creating those chances, but how many of them are big chances? And only one was a big chance. So okay, that diminishes that stat. Likewise with the stats that you're going to bring up in a minute, shots in the box looks good for Raul Jimenez, but his shots on target, I'm pretty sure, is only 1 over 3 games. So again, it's like, and then you start building a picture along with watching either highlights or full games of Wolves. Then you kind of thinking, okay, yeah, I remember seeing Jimenez shoot. He was missing the target. He was looking a bit off confidence, but he is getting into the position. So it is better than having, you don't want a striker who's not getting any shots away or not creating any chances, because that's just not a good sign. It's almost like Jimenez is almost ready to burst, but not quite yet. He still needs a little bit of improvement before he goes. That's how I'd read the stats. So, you've got to look into, if you want to be a stats guy and make your FPL decision based on stats and watching the game like I like to do, you've got to apply context to them, because someone like Matt Ritchie's up there on this graphic is creating a lot of chances. Doesn't mean that he should be going in our FPL teams. Does that make sense, John?
No, it does. It does 100%. Like, stats can be deceiving. I'm not a particular. I play games and stuff that have people who are die-hard data nerds, geeks who love it, and they delve in and they hate a lot of the different stats because of the subjectivity of them all. What is a big chance? What is a good chance?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a subjective stat.
Yeah.
So like they all need to be taken with a pinch of salt, I think, tables like this, but they do kind of build you a picture, and it's all about using all the little bits and bobs from all over the place to make your own decisions. So I think here, Trent, I actually didn't realise, I knew Trent's had a good start to the season. I didn't realise it's been that good, but I remember, was it in game week 3? It might have even been game week 2. I think it was game week 3. There was a ball I remember him playing, it might stick out in your mind, it might not, from literally the right back spot into the box, crossfield ball into the box, literally on a fucking plate. I think, for Mane, I think, and he missed it.
I'm thinking when Henderson on the left foot.
Henderson, that's the one. I just thought of going over when Mane coming in for the net. It was Henderson. Did you see that ball?
Yeah, it was unbelievable, wasn't it? Like
unbelievable.
That's why he's just in the right back position, and he's created that chance there. And yeah, I think you're right. And I think he's probably, I don't know how many assists has he only got the 2 assists this season?
I'd find out. I say only. He has 1 assist only.
Just 1 assist, yeah.
But he has got a return in every game.
Yeah, he should have more, is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah.
He's 5 bonus.
Yeah.
I mean, averaging 7.3 points over his first 3 games.
Exactly. Sorry, go on. I'll keep interrupting. Go on.
No, I think with a very, very small delay. Go ahead. I'm talking shit at this stage, Wiz.
I was just going to say that because you bought the 2 bonus points that he got when he didn't actually get a clean sheet or a goal. I think that's right. I haven't got it to my head, but that just shows how well he's playing in the overall game. And it's the same way how Luke Shaw got bonus points when Man United didn't get a clean sheet or didn't get an attacking return, because of how well he's playing in that bonus system, accumulating those points, that that's really good. And Trent is a bonus points monster, so it is really beneficial when players are good on the bonus point system, because you know that it's going to make their returns even better. When Liverpool get a clean sheet, Trent's likely to get bonus. When he gets that attacking return, he's not capped at just whatever that, a 3-point assist. It almost makes that 3-point assist into maybe a 4, 5, 6-point assist, because he's almost, if he gets an assist and a clean sheet, he's almost guaranteed to get 3 bonus, unless obviously someone's there with a hat trick or something. So yeah, it's nice not having those bonus guys, is all I was trying to say. But yeah, back to
absolutely
saying
No, there wasn't much I was saying. I was kind of just beating around the bush. Donny FPL, just to break up it a little bit, the stat heavy stuff. He says the only stat we care about is how many more likes and retweets needed to see Wes's tattoo. XTI, expected tattoo involvement. So this is the time in the show where I have a go at the 500 viewers and say, there's 500 of you chancers out there and only 65 of you have hit like. Go and hit like, do us a favour. Just please do it. I'm trying to think of something witty to say, and I'm just not quick-witted enough. But there's 435 freeloaders here, is what I'm saying. I love yous all, I really do. But it's amazing because, Wes, you see when I say this, it rockets up because people are like, oh, geez, I didn't like the video yet. Some lads and ladies, I love yous. Back to the stats.
And we'll get back to the same. But yeah, with the tattoo, I've promised a proper reveal on Twitter now, so I better stick to that. But what I will do is I'll stand back a bit. Flash my
show us your hoop.
Yeah, I don't really want to get my legs out really too much, but I'll do it. At the end of the stream. You will see that I've got the you'll see it. It's looking okay, and it's nearish my knee. So yeah, I'll whip it out at the end of the stream for you, like if as the likes are streaming in now, John. So yeah, I'll do that at the end.
It's absolutely obscene. They just doubled from 65 to 130. Thank you so much, everyone. These are amazing. It helps us. It helps. Do you know what? You see, if we don't say that, people don't like. And if people don't like, Will thinks we get zero engagement. And they won't want us back. So it's to keep us here. It really is. I am from Ireland. Right. Will we go back to this?
Yeah, just so everyone knows, John was replying to a comment there. He wasn't just announcing he was from Ireland.
yeah. And I'm from Ireland, and we will talk about SAR. I'm from Ireland. And might start doing that. I like it. I was replying to a comment. So, brilliant. Yeah. Anyone else stand out for you there, Wes? Do you know who I've always liked? I've always liked Bowen. I'm not saying Bowen's an amazing FPL asset, but I've always liked him. He's always there. He's always.
It's so strange, isn't it? Because he doesn't seem to get enough. He never seems to be an FPL asset. Like last year, the midfielder from West Ham was like Soychek, and then it flips over to Lingard. Now this year, it's kind of Ben Rama getting the points. Even Fornals is getting more points than Bowen. But yeah, I mean, I think he's taking corners as well, or taking some of them. So yeah, I mean, I like Bowen. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get points, but it's one of those where you can't really justify putting him in because the midfielder you want is kind of Ben Rama from West Ham or no midfielder really. Yeah, it's difficult. It's one of those I wouldn't go there, but I just wouldn't be surprised to see him get points. But yeah, we'll move on to this graphic quickly. But you can see players like Pogba there. Antonio's an interesting one. I know he looks quite far down, but the numbers are actually all quite similar. So Antonio's really changed his game up from being. He's created 2 open goal chances as well. His assist for Ben Rama in a home game was an open goal tap in, and his assist for Fornals was an open goal tap in. Another assist he got for Ben Rama was a nice cross against Newcastle.
But is he out because he played for Jamaica?
Again, that's another thing. Just wait and see. I'm not hearing much sort of noise on that front, so I'm guessing he's okay. But yeah, haven't got a full grasp of this because I'm holding my transfers until the last minute. That's when I'll make sure I've got all the information and go for it. I'm assuming he's playing for now. Definitely not remove him yet. Just hope. I'm definitely hoping he plays. If he's such a big FPL player that if you go on FPL Twitter at any stage and Antonio's out, 1 million accounts will be tweeting about him. But yeah, he's creative as well. Like you wouldn't think of Antonio as creating necessarily big, like good chances, but he's not panicking in front of goal and being erratic. He's slowing it down and literally just laying it on a plate for 2 open goals. Other than that, on that list, someone like Sarr got a goal threat and assist threat this you show him. But yeah, we can move on to some of the next ones. We're not kind of stat heavy guys, are we? So we're
trying to be something we're not here, Wes. We're really going at it. But
this is good.
This is good. Ferries it up. Keep them guessing.
Bring the next one up.
Shot on target or shot in the box? Box first.
Yeah, go shots in the box.
So shots in the box, Antonio at the top, followed by Mane, which actually surprises me. Mane is such... Do you know, this is side topic again. Mane used to be the man. And he's just kind of fallen off the last season. He just doesn't get the goals. Now, I'm not even talking about recent stats. I'm talking about my perception of him. My perception of Mane is that he's massively overpriced based on the last season or two.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm just wrong.
No, he shouldn't be. I think he started at 12 million, didn't he? That was too high for a player who didn't have penalties and didn't have the form from the previous season. He should have been a bit... If he was priced at maybe 10.5, 11 million, it would have given us a decision to make between him and Salah. But, Salah with penalties and only 0.5 more, it just basically made Mane a dead asset. But he is obviously, like I said, he's getting shots away in the box. How many has he scored? A couple of goals this season, maybe one or two. But again, you'll see Jimenez up there. But again, it's about applying that context to stats. So it's where I find watching games really important as well, because you can see when a player goes for on goal, like some players, you just think, someone like a Vardy or something like that, you just think they're going to score this, they're confident, etc., etc. Whereas with other players, they take a lot of pot shots, but they never really look like scoring. And it's interesting to see someone like obviously Calvert-Lewin up there. He's got penalties now. He's doing well, only 8.2. We're all kind of blinded by who to bring in, Lukaku or Ronaldo. Why is no one really saying Calvert-Lewin, and myself included, by the way? I keep tinkering with my own team, and I keep putting either Ronaldo or Lukaku in for Danny Ings, but I'm not. I was considering Calvert-Lewin before those two joined the league, and I do really want Calvert-Lewin, but it's like, how do you get Calvert-Lewin, Lukaku in without obviously, I'd have to probably take a -8, and I've got defensive issues, blah blah blah. So yeah, I don't know if I will squeeze Calvert-Lewin in, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see him match the likes of Lukaku and Ronaldo over the next sort of 3 or 4 games. Why not? Just because I think I heard someone else say this I think it might have been Mark Southerns, who will try and get on here actually soon, because he came on our pod last year, didn't he, John?
He did, yeah. Good guy.
On the stream, yeah, very good guy. And yeah, he said on one of his content that just because these good players like Ronaldo and Lukaku have joined the league, it doesn't make these other strikers less of, they haven't got worse. Calvert-Lewin's still a good asset. Antonio's still a good asset. So you could go into this week, you might be scared of what Ronaldo could do, and maybe Ronaldo goes ahead and gets a brace this weekend. Fair enough, 13 points, but so could Calvert-Lewin, couldn't he? So Calvert-Lewin's got decent fixtures. Calvert-Lewin started the season quite well. So Calvert-Lewin's now got penalties, and if you'd have added on penalties to what he got last season, Calvert-Lewin might have been up there with a golden boot shout. So that might be a bit of a stretch, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
So yeah, like those 4 players, we know how much Salah likes to shoot, and those 4 players above him have all had more shots in the box than even Salah, so they're doing well. And someone like Lukaku's had 1 less game than all the others on that list, and he's had 9 shots in the box, and one of his games was away at Anfield with 10 men for 45 minutes. So
yeah,
Lukaku's doing well. He obviously got a lot of shots away against Arsenal, and lucky not to score brace there. So
he's a slight doubt. He has a thigh injury, I think, but I mean, I think it's very slight. I think
I've got
people think he's going to play.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of him in full training. So
sorted.
Would assume that makes him okay. It's not really been unless when we're live on air, it might have been announced. But he was like some big smile on his face, hugging Ziyech, who was also in full training.
And we all know that a side effect of having a fit and healthy body is definitely smiling.
Exactly.
He wouldn't be doing any of that if he was injured.
No. Because he wouldn't be, he'd be furious that he wasn't playing.
He'd be furious because he was on fire for Belgium as well. 4 goal involvements over 2 games, albeit it was Estonia, Czech Republic as well.
I think I saw a stat, again, it could be slightly wrong, but it was something along the lines of Lukaku scored 50 goals in the last 50 games for Belgium or something. So he's averaging a goal again. And I know at international level you do get a few, obviously, dead rubbers where, you pan the likes of San Marino, but even still, very good stats if that was, might not be the exact stat, but it was something like that.
Wes, I'm going to whip up the next graphic because we need to get quick fire questions in too. Before, it's just something to look back on. It was that Mane point, and it's exactly what we said, and it's just because it's in my head I want to say it. Like, he really did fall off last season, but it's funny that, because it was kind of like we felt Rashford did nothing, and Rashford ended up, I don't know if it was 9 or 11, but there was an odd number around that amount that he had that many goals and assists. His season was a good season for a footballer, but for FPL, it was meh. But Mane, the thing with Mane is like he went 22 goals, 18 goals in 18, 19 and 19, 20. So 22 goals, 18 goals. And then he only had 11 last season, albeit with his highest ever assist total. But the issue, as you say, is 100%. He's up in there in the price range of penalty takers, of like Salah, of Ronaldo now. Like he's 0.5 off Ronaldo. Like that's just madness for a guy whose goal involvements on the pitch won't go anywhere close, and he's no shout of a penalty. So anyway, that was just kind of a Mane, because I mean I see him high up in this graphic. He hasn't had a bad start to the season, but I mean if he was 10 million, he should be in the Son category for me.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and maybe Son's slightly underpriced, but yeah, I was just very surprised to see Mane come in at the same price as Bruno Fernandes. I know Bruno's obviously not the flavour of the talk of the town at the minute, or whatever you want to say, but I don't think you should start at 12 million. But yeah, like with this one, again, take the stats apply them with context to what you've actually seen. But it is always good to see, if you're thinking of bringing in a player, it's good to see them near the top of these sort of stats, because you know that if they are getting those sort of chances and they are hitting the target, that it's simple, isn't it? That the chances of them scoring in future games, if that continues, is obviously a lot higher than somebody who isn't getting these sort of stats.
Absolutely. Well, look, on anyone on this jump out, I mean, I think Calvert-Lewin is a standout option in general. He really is. I'd argue Antonio should be top of this graphic because his price is lower. That's what I would argue here, actually. If they both had 7, I think Antonio's better because of his value. But, I mean, I don't think there's any mad surprises here, are there? Trincao?
No, not particularly. It's interesting to see Fernandes has only got 4, and obviously we know he scored a hat-trick in game week 1, so he hasn't done much in the following 2 games. Someone like Jota in limited minutes, having 4, again, not setting the world light, but someone like, if you're looking for mid-price bargain, someone like we were speaking about Trincao, 5 shots on target in those difficult fixtures, pretty good return. Obviously very close to scoring against Man United, Wan-Bissaka with an amazing goal line clearance. So yeah,
the fixture swing, 5.9 million. He's
exactly,
interesting.
Yeah. And he's the sort of price where people are going to be looking to downgrade from maybe Bruno and free up money for the likes of a Ronaldo or Lukaku. So people are going to be looking at the sort of 6 million, 7 million midfielders, that sort of price range. So Trincao is in there. Early on in the piece, I did say that I was a wait and see for him, and I still am for my own team. But if someone said to me, I'm going to put in Trincao, is that a good decision? I'd kind of be like, yeah, go for it. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't sort of say, it's not a good decision. It's not for my team, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with putting him in now. And someone like Sarr was again, it's maybe a positive bias I've got for Sarr. Nearly went with him pre-season, been keeping a keen eye on him. I remember him from the Premier League a couple of seasons ago, etc., etc. And he's sort of doing okay on the shot stats and the creating chances stats. So that's saying to me that his returns could continue, and Watford's fixtures are pretty decent as well.
Absolutely. Well, Wes, will we jump on past this, or is there anything else you think stands out there?
Yeah, let's do some quick fire questions for the last 10 or 15 minutes, or however long you're happy to stay for, John.
Yeah, let's do that. So for everyone watching, how this works, I'm going to be really cheeky as well, Wes, I think. You'll see how cheeky I am. Just give me 1 second and you'll see how cheeky I am. Because this is what we're all about. Get us to 200 likes and we'll kick off the quickfire questions. There's 600 people here now, Wes. This is one of the best we've had this season. Thank you so much to everyone joining. If you enjoy this, please do subscribe to Fantasy Football Hub. We'll be here every week, kind of a day or on the deadline day. And there's a lot of other great content here, including the FPL Green Arrow podcast with Fergie, and a million other things, Will's videos and stuff. So yeah, subscribe to the channel while you're here. Like the video for us. How quickfire questions works is there's going to be millions of comments, so we mightn't see yours. Don't spam. If you spam, I'm 100% ignoring you. That's the plan anyway. But the vibe is ask us.
Quickly on that spam thing, I actually figured out a way of, because I'm logged in this hub, I can press the little 3 dots thing next to the comment and give them a little timeout. So
I like that.
Spam.
Okay,
so yeah,
you will be timed out. Wes is the timeout police. How it will work is type in your question and A or B, chuck in a C if you're really stuck style question, or a yes or no style question. We do not, we always end up delving into them a bit deeper, but we'll try not to. First one, Josh Mortis. I think he might have been one of the first in, and I'm sorry if there's someone above him. But legends, I'm on a wild card. Would you rather A, DCL and Tierney, or B, Bamford and Luka Dean?
Oh, it's tough.
I'd go A.
Oh, yeah. I think just because I prefer DCL to Bamford. I mean, if you can do both DCL and Dean, I know that wasn't what you said. I'd do that, but yeah, option A out of those two.
Yeah, I think the fixtures for Tierney swung it for me.
Yeah.
And anyway, we're not delving into it. It's an answer, isn't that? Sarr, Traore, or Saka?
Sarr. Definitely not Saka for me at the minute.
Marcal or Semedo? Semedo's
Semedo's a little bit more expensive, but Semedo for me.
Semedo or Saiss?
Semedo, I think still as well. I might bring in a Wolves defender, so I need to research tonight. I might change my mind, but as of right now, Semedo.
Just to break it up a bit, Sean reckons you have a nice kitchen.
That's FPL Hibbo. He's a hub contributor as well. Legend.
Trincao.
Fellow Irish guy, John. Fellow Irish
guy.
Yeah.
I know. I've seen the comments. People were very interested about where I'm from. Trincao or Traore?
Trincao, yeah.
Greenwood or Jota?
Going forward, Jota. Firmino's out injured. Greenwood. How's that? Greenwood's been great for me in my team so far, but I'm a little bit worried about how the Ronaldo thing will affect how he's going to get on. So yeah, for me, Jota.
Wolves goalie on the wild card, yes or no?
No, I just prefer a 4.5 option just because I'm tight when it comes to keepers.
Greenwood or Mount?
Mount's doing okay actually, flying under the radar, but no, get Mount in week 7. Greenwood for now.
Would you sell Ings or Wilson?
Wilson's injured, so Wilson. Ings is at least going to play. I know he's got Chelsea, but yeah, sell the injured player.
Bamford or Rafinha for the 7th attacking spot?
I think cheaper Rafinha, and he has got the. I feel like at one stage he is actually going to fulfil his potential and start exploding. He seems to dodge points somehow, creates loads of chances, and doesn't quite get the returns I feel like he deserves.
Well,
Rafinha.
We didn't talk about that. People are speculating he drops into the number 10 role with Dan James coming in. But
yeah, and it's obviously that question is obviously contingent on. I don't know. That's probably not the right word to use. It depends on the Brazilian international news. But yeah, that is interesting actually. Rafinha in number 10 with Dan James at wide is a big possibility. So I guess wait and see how that turns out. Yeah,
I might have asked this one already. I'm not sure. Jota or Torres?
Oh, it's a tough one. Again, I'm leaning towards. I've got a similar dilemma for my own team, and I am leaning towards Jota. So that's my answer. But I like them. I do like them both.
Eiling or Dyer?
Oh god, 2 boring options. Eiling, I think Leeds fixtures turn good after this Liverpool game. So yeah, Eiling for the longer term. Yeah.
Jota and Bamford or DCL and Torres? I'm going DCL and Torres.
Say that again, sorry, I missed the start.
Jota and Bamford or DCL and Torres?
Yeah, just because I'm a big DCL sort of fan, that's swaying me over to that option as well. Yeah. Both good options though. Yeah.
Jimenez vs DCL, go DCL.
Yeah.
DCL or Jimenez or Bamford, go DCL.
Yeah.
Christensen or Rudiger?
I think, again, speaking to a Chelsea fan I kind of trust for knowledge on this, Rudiger's more nailed longer term. Potentially Christensen is 0.5 cheaper and he's more tempting, but he could lose his place to Thiago Silva, whereas Rudiger, and this is backed up by the stats in terms of minutes played under Tuchel. Sorry, I always mess that up. Minutes played under Tuchel, Rudiger's right up there. So yeah, Rudiger is worth the extra 0.5.
Fornals or Traore?
Oh God, I don't want to say neither, but Traore out of those two then. Yeah.
I don't know, Wes, if you can hear me coughing, but bear in mind that I always mute it for people actually listening, not through Skype. So don't worry if I'm choking down the mic. You're probably thinking, geez, this guy's really dying over there.
I didn't really hear you either.
Oh, did you not? I really properly coughed into the mic. Anyway, digression. Fernandes and Ings or Jota and Ronaldo for a hit? So the hit would be on the Jota Ronaldo.
Yeah, I think it's possibly worth a hit, that one.
We didn't really talk about Ronaldo. How bullish are you on Ronaldo? Like, are you like Team Ronaldo?
Yeah, you're right. We haven't. I felt like for this, because there's been so much content about Ronaldo, I didn't want it to be done to death. So yeah, I'll quickly talk about Ronaldo sort of, and in the context of Lukaku. Ronaldo, I think, will do well. I think he'll start this week. Pretty confident that he'll start and he will do well. However, United's fixtures turn in sort of week 7 where Lukaku's get better. So, if you're on a wild card, maybe start off with Ronaldo and then switch him to Lukaku. Ronaldo, last year in the Serie A, did score the majority of his goals against the sort of bottom teams rather than he only got a few goals against the other top teams. So it's not a case of, Ronaldo's going to score hat-tricks in every game. He does do better in the lesser games. Lukaku's definitely got more assist potential. He is 1 million cheaper. Lukaku's got a nice fixture this week against Aston Villa without Martinez. And Lukaku's obviously a bit more bedded into Chelsea already, and we know he's going to suit Chelsea's play. We're not sure about that with Ronaldo. Juventus was built around crosses into the box. United aren't set up for that at the minute. So that's a tough decision. And like I kind of said earlier, who's to say DCL doesn't match these guys? Who's to say Antonio doesn't? But yeah, no, I mean, I'm not talking about Ronaldo. Very good option, as is Lukaku, and it's a dilemma I've got for my own team. Actually, I'll possibly be bringing one of those in, and I'll possibly be ignoring DCL and going against, my own what I've been saying all stream. But yeah. I am bullish on him. Yeah.
It's just a caveat to the Ronaldo sort of stats as well. Like, people who, because I follow a lot of European football, I follow Juve, I've watched a lot of their games last season. Yeah. A big thing is that like Juve, we think of Juve as like the dominating Serie A. We just think of them as dominant. You think of Ronaldo to get loads of goals. You think of Ronaldo to do whatever, and he was still the top goal scorer, 29 goals in the league. But they finished 4th, and they were the 4th highest scoring team. Like Juve were all over the gaff last year with Pirlo there. I think Allegri's back now. So like, I really do think Ronaldo's still at the top of his game if he gets into a team that scores goals, and United are doing that so far this season. Like,
yeah, you're right. United do score a lot of goals and have done for the last couple of seasons, and it's good knowledge there from in terms of Serie A and Juventus. Like you said, they only came 4th, and he's still got 29 league goals, which is very good. And people say Premier League's a lot better than Serie A. I don't watch a lot of Serie A, but I don't know if the Premier League's that much better than Serie A. It's an impossible thing to quantify, isn't it? But
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of dung teams there. There really are. Yeah. The lower half of the table, I don't think the lower half of the table could stand up to the lower half in the Premier League. But the top 8, top 10 are solid. But we're completely going off topic due to me, as always. Wes, sorry about that.
It's interesting, and it's again back to my point earlier about context around stats or context around stuff and how it can then be applied to FPL. So it's good to get people thinking about that, and it's something I hadn't really considered about. I actually forgot that Juventus came 4th. I just knew Ronaldo's individual goal stats. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, but I think it makes it that little bit more impressive. I mean, if he'd have been in the winning, there were teams that scored like 10, 12, 13 more goals than Juve last season. But anyway,
and I think we'll move on to this point in a second. But Lukaku got, was it 24, 25 Serie A goals?
Oh, I could check that out.
Something like that. A fair few less than Ronaldo, but he did get a load more assists than Ronaldo. Obviously, goals are better for FPL, more points for the striker. More bonus points potential when they get goals. So goals are obviously better, obvious thing to say, but you know what I mean. However, we can't obviously ignore assists, and if Lukaku's got that in his locker as well, which I've seen from the Chelsea games as well. He is. He's put Mount through on goal against Liverpool, and someone else just through hold-up play and then slipping people in. So, yeah.
I think he got a couple of assists for Belgium too. He's solid. Like Lukaku's class. I think everyone, again, talking of biases, people were still skewed from his failed kind of transfer to United. I call it failed, but it was failed in terms of he didn't hit the heights people expected him to. I don't think he did as bad there as people remember, but I mean, there's biases there. Lukaku's a different animal now. He's insane. He's one of the top. He genuinely is one of the top strikers in the world.
Fully agree.
Kane to Ronaldo for a -4.
No. If Kane's already sat there in your team and is about to play Crystal Palace away, and Kane's obviously back scoring goals for England and in the cup for Spurs, wasn't it? So no, if you got Kane now, keep him for that fixture for sure.
Wood or Armstrong? I like this question. Wood, just because I like him, but don't take my opinion. I'm biased now.
It's got to be Wood for John. No, I will go Armstrong there. I think they might be the same price. Forgive me, I can't remember the prices, but Armstrong's looked fairly lively, so I'd go for him. However, what I would say is I actually prefer having neither of those strikers and spending a little bit more. If I know it's not the question, so it's a bit of a crap answer, but yeah, out of the two, Armstrong, but I would prefer you to spend more and get the likes of a DCL type character if you can.
Top 3 captains in order.
Oh, that's tough. I don't know about order, but Ronaldo, Lukaku, and Antonio. Order's almost impossible, but I'll go Lukaku as the best captain option this week against a Villa team without Martinez.
Salah versus Leeds doesn't interest you?
No.
No.
I mean, I, of course he could do well, but I think there's better. Lukaku at home to Villa, Ronaldo at home to Newcastle, and then Antonio's in great form and a decent fixture as well. Can't write off Salah, of course, but no, not for me. He would probably be fourth choice out of, but if I had to pick a fourth,
Harrison or Sarr?
Sarr.
Trincao, Traore, or Dallas?
Avoid Dallas. He's not an option as a midfielder. Well, he's not a good option as a midfielder, in my opinion. So Trincao out of those three.
I don't know why I find this funny. Alpha says all FPL players are either injured or might miss game week 4. Nice one, Alpha. Yeah, we're all screwed. I don't know why, just give me a giggle. Lukaku and Jota or Ronaldo and Sarr?
I think Lukaku, and again, when we talk about Lukaku versus Ronaldo, it shows you what else you can do with the rest of your team. £1 million in FPL is a lot of money, isn't it, in terms of what you can do with your squad. So yeah, the first, Lukaku and Jota in that example.
Trincao, will Lukaku start? Yes or no? You don't know.
Yeah, yes.
Son? Will Son start? No one knows.
No idea. Look into the injury news. If he's fit, he will. If he's not, he probably won't play at all. I can't see him coming off the bench for 20 minutes. So he's probably either 90 minutes or 0 minutes.
Vardy or Lukaku?
Lukaku.
Grealish and Gundogan. Good options, yes or no?
Not for me. I just worry about rotation in those positions. I can't talk about, those two could easily do well in any fixture, couldn't they? But City's fixtures aren't great. Foden and De Bruyne are coming back. I don't want to be putting up with Pep rotation. So for me, I wouldn't be looking to bring in one of those assets myself.
Something I haven't even said to you, Wes, is how strongly I'm considering a wild card this week. I think it could happen. I didn't even discuss it, but just to give you a bit of context, Obafemi's one of my strikers. I've 3.3 million in the bank.
Yeah.
I've Grealish.
You got hammered for that. You got hammered for that as well.
I did. I got hammered for that. I've got Grealish. I've got Buendia. I've got Son. Tsimikas is still there on the bench. Amartey is still on the bench. Yeah. It sounds like a wild card to me.
Yeah, I think because you've got the Buendia issue, Son may or may not be injured. Yeah, and you've got... Yeah, it sounds like for your squad. How many... Have you got one free transfer as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a wild card to me.
Sounds like a wild card to me. Today's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so I probably should have talked about that a bit more. That's why I was trying to coax you into doing a wild card draft. Torres or Gray? Gray hasn't been spoken about.
He hasn't. Yeah, no, I like a couple of those sort of 5.5 million-ish defenders. Midfielders, sorry. So yeah, Demarai Gray. I like him, and if he frees up that budget to get you that Ronaldo, to get you that Lukaku, or whatever you might need, then absolutely, yeah.
For everyone listening, we are going to be wrapping up soon enough. Do us a favour, go and drop your like before you leave, because when you leave, you're not coming back to drop it. So just do it when you're here. Help the boys out, please. There's like 237 people have, which means there's like 350 people who just haven't turned their phone to its side, minimise the chat and hit like yet. But
and keep watching. You're about to see.
You're about to see a tattoo. You're about to see big man's legs. Maybe even some bum cheek if you're lucky.
Skinny man legs.
Skinny man legs. Okay, let's do Ronaldo and have I answered? It doesn't matter. Ronaldo and Jota or Bruno and DCL.
Oh, it's close, isn't it?
I think everyone's tainting Bruno in their minds. But look, the thing is, Bruno will create more chances and probably get more assists for Ronaldo on the pitch.
Yeah,
Ronaldo doesn't want to take the crosses. He wants to be in there for the header. So like,
exactly. Yeah, he could get more assists. He will obviously lose penalties, but he scored a hat trick against Leeds. Let's not forget, as a midfielder without penalty or free kick or whatever. And I know obviously since then he hasn't done much, but yeah, we can't write him off. And the fact that if you went the options for this example. I mean, they're such good options, aren't they? Ronaldo and Jota could smash it, and so could Bruno and DCL. So I really don't know how to answer that. They're both good options. Pick one, go with your gut, pick it, and go for it. Do you know what I mean? If it works out or if it fails, it's not a mistake, whichever way you go. if that makes sense. They as a set of A versus B, they're like coin flip territory.
Thanks to Carlo, D Law, Dan Bailey, Shamzul, everyone who's hitting a like now. Thank you. Really does help. Cancelo, yes or no, says Hens. Cancelo.
Oh, I'm almost, again, it's maybe a bias, but I'm almost anti-City. I just don't want a player in my team that's,
man.
Yeah.
Do you see the double nutmeg?
That was lovely, yeah. That was we need to retweet that from our Double Up account, John, because that was
nice.
That was so nice. That was probably the best ever
nutmeg of the season. Lee Clements says that my team sounds awful, and he'd be right. Oh, wait there. Is my mic good enough that it like turns into ASMR when I come into the microphone? Is it really like, as you probably can't hear it.
Robbie Glynn said that, yeah.
Yeah, Tim K. Oh no, wrong one. We're not answering that. Ronaldo or Kane?
I don't know. There's so much hype about Ronaldo, isn't there?
For good reason.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm going to be different, and not just for the sake of it, but no, that's going to be hypocritical because I'm not actually, I'm more likely to transfer Ronaldo than I am Kane. So I'll say Ronaldo. I'll have to. And Ashley Harnett's in the comment, my mate from uni, saying Dunstall, Kettering, two of his favourite places in the world. I'll say Kettering for that one.
When's my tat coming, says Leon. He'll be waiting a while. Christia, we answered that. Marcal or Dennis?
The two. Well, I guess that's a decision for his last playing position in his team, because obviously one's a defender, one's a striker. But I'd always favour the attacking option, I think. So yeah, I think I'd go Dennis. I'd go Dennis there.
Ivan Toney, yes or no?
I've got him in my team. I'm sticking by him. If I was wildcarding, I probably wouldn't, but he's got a decent enough fixture this week, and I kind of trust. He's their main man, lead the line for them. I think he could do well. It's one of those don't sell, don't buy, that sort of thing. Keep him if you've got him. But yeah, wouldn't get if I was wildcarding. I'd be going sort of DCL, Ronaldo or Lukaku, and then not sure who else, to be honest. But yeah,
Alonso or Shaw?
Sure, because I think Chilwell at some point is going to get some game time there, and Rob Alonso have some game time, whereas Shaw is pretty nailed on.
Wes, tell me this, and just be blunt with me. This is an on-air production meeting. Do you want to do this or do you not? At the end of the quickfire each week, will we get them to throw us things that are non-FPL? Because one or two of them have come in. Should we make that a thing, or will we just not do that?
Yeah, why not?
All right, we'll do one or more two FPL ones, then we'll get like real-world ones, and everyone will stop watching.
We did some... We did some silly. We'll just do a couple of like this sillier ones then, because some people were throwing them in the last few weeks, weren't they? And they were quite good.
Yeah.
We don't want to do too many because then it gets a bit boring. But yeah, we'll do a couple.
Jimenez and Jota, or Jota and Trincao?
Oh, Jimenez and
Jota and Trincao, I think. I just prefer Trincao over Jimenez at the minute. But
yeah, I think I agree with that.
Someone's spelling Richarlison, and he nearly got there.
I thought he was going to say Richard at first, but yeah, I don't know what he's saying about. You say yes to Richard. I can't see what his original comment.
All right,
what was it?
We'll I'm gonna just put one more in, and then we'll go on to random shit. So I seen one there. Ben White, yes or no? We talked about this very start of the stream.
Yeah, I mean yes, because of the pictures. I don't like him, but yeah, just quickly, you can go back to Sean Jackson's in a second, but. Someone said, "Where's his hair products?" Don't use any hair products. Just sort of get out of the shower and just push it back a bit. And if you watch normally, you'll normally see that my hair is an absolute mess. I've literally cut it because I knew what was going on with the FPL show. I usually look like a tramp, so.
He does. He usually looks like a tramp. It's true.
Yeah, we're both
particularly with COVID.
Yeah, exactly. We've both got short haircuts, John, haven't we, at the minute? Yours sometimes get longer than that.
Yeah, did I show you last week on stream, or was it one of my own streams where basically I have like a preceding hairline almost. I have the opposite problem with most men.
Yeah, I've got that as well.
My hair starts at my eyebrows. We both have really tiny foreheads.
Yeah, I want mine to recede a little bit. It's like the hair growing where it shouldn't do on its forehead. Mine's more so than yours, I think.
Oh my god. Imagine we were brothers. Anyway,
forehead twins, John.
Do you ever get it where the barber tries to cut you in a hairline, and then I've had it once or twice. It happened last time where he tried to cut me the hairline, and basically butchered it. So now I have all these little tiny hairs. So basically, I had a really shit haircut, and then I had to get another barber to save it. Now it's just a little bit less shit. But here's one for you: tomato sauce or ketchup? What feels right?
That's the same thing, isn't it?
Which one would
what
you
do you
say?
call it? Probably call it tomato sauce, I think. Yeah.
I kind of
Not,
flip between the two. I think this is a more interesting question than meets the eye for me, because I think I grew up calling it tomato sauce, and then I became a man and I started calling it ketchup. But I think a large part of that is going from the north of Ireland to the south of Ireland. In the north, there's a lot of things they say that in the south they say different, and I think up there it might be tomato sauce, and down here it's more ketchup.
oh, really?
Crazy.
I
Yeah, I
never
know.
knew that about Ireland. Yeah, there's a big north-south divide with sort of language or words in England as well. But yeah, I don't know what I say. I prefer brown sauce or mayonnaise if we're just to go off on a tangent from an already random question.
Do you want to see how quick we can get the viewers to go down by talking about ourselves and not FPL? Anyway, before you leave, please do drop that like. That's all that matters, and subscribe to the channel. Okay, what's your favourite pint?
I'm not really a beer man, to be honest. I prefer a pint of chocolate milk. You?
Right, okay, pick an alcoholic beverage. Chocolate milk's banging though.
Yeah, it is good, isn't it? Disaronno and Coke. But no, favourite beer would be...
Disaronno? You're a
Yeah,
Disaronno guy?
yeah. And what's the beer that you put like a lime in the top?
Corona.
Desperados. Desperados is what I like.
Desperados? Jesus, you're all
Yeah.
over the gaff ways.
I
So
know.
we're both weird, because I'm not a big pint man in terms of beer. I am a big pint man, but not in terms of beer. I drink a lot of cider, which is why
Cider,
I'm a
yeah.
little overweight, I'd say, but little is also underplaying it. But I do drink an occasional Guinness. If I'm in a nice bar, I'll go and get a Guinness. It has to be in Ireland, though. English Guinness, get out of here.
Yeah,
Um,
I've only ever had English Guinness, and it's I
that's
don't like it.
That's an intimate one. Bath or shower?
Um, After football, bath. Normally though, just a shower.
I never bath. I don't fit in baths. I'm not joking yet. I'm like 6'2" and like 120 kilos. I'm a big boy. I do not fit in baths. Either my boobs get cold or my knees get cold. It's one of the other ways.
I didn't know you were 6'2" actually.
Yeah.
You're probably 2 inches taller than me then.
Yeah, okay. I'm 6'1 and 3/4, so I round it up.
Exaggerating.
You can't say 6'1 and 3/4. Hada says, please talk FPL. I'll let you know this, Hada. This is a nice little wind down for 5 minutes. FPL is well and truly gone. But yeah, apparently South Africa does decent Guinness. That's strange. Half your height or twice your weight?
What?
Would you half your height or twice your weight? Double your weight.
Oh, I'd have to twice my weight. I'd be tiny if I half my height.
Yeah, I think I'd double my weight, because you have a chance of moving it, whereas if you're just 3'1", I mean, that's...
Yeah. You'd just
God
be
love
short.
you. Yeah, like that's just... That's just a life-changing type thing that you just can't get back. Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation.
PlayStation, yeah.
But should we wrap this up with the flash of the tattoo and then get
you're
going?
right. This has gone on too long. So, go on. Are you going to flash it to us, or are we going to beg for more likes and be really needy? No, we've got
enough likes.
We've got enough likes.
I'll step back a bit and try and get it in the camera. Hold on.
Quick question. I'll answer a couple of these while you're doing that. After pub pizza or kebab? I haven't had a kebab in about 3 years, because I went vegetarian for a year and fell out of the way of it. So I've become a pizza man. I don't know. Buckfast, absolutely. I don't drink it a lot, but...
Can you see my knee?
Yeah, I don't think you can hear me, though. Yeah.
I can hear you.
Oh. Oh, God. Oh, that's not a small flash, Wes. We can see that. Someone screenshot that. Jeez, that's... You got the old angle on it as well.
Yeah, went for a bit of an angle just to be trendy.
Oh, baby. Now, you could actually make that leg, like, you know those people with tattoos, you get all, like, cartoony stuff, and they, like have lots of little cartoons all over their leg.
Yeah, nah. I'm done.
You need to get, like, a Jesse now, and then you can get, like, a Tuco.
I'm definitely done. Sorry, I couldn't hear that last bit because I was plugging my headphones back in. But what I will say is a quick little story. So I got the tattoo done, and right at the end, the bloke told me about that there's this numbing cream or gel that they can use. But they decided not to give it to me because it was my first time and they wanted me to experience the real thing. And I was like, I don't want to experience pain. I've got no interest in that. Just give me the numbing gel next time. Absolute joke. But yeah,
So
it was good fun.
Screaming, squealing like a pig.
I was whingy. I was like, I was whinging a bit.
What were you like? Show us what you were like.
No, not doing that again. Someone definitely screenshot.
Right. Andy's asked a few times where in Belfast I'm from. I'm not from Belfast. I'm from a seaside town called Newcastle, near to Belfast, but no one knows of it. So I just say Belfast sometimes. Right, Wes, I think that's about it, isn't it?
That is. And
It was a good
thanks
one.
everyone for it was a good one. Hope everyone enjoyed it. If you've joined late, go back and watch it. It will be live. It will be ready to watch on Hub in a couple of minutes, won't it? So you can watch it again and see that we did a lot of stat stuff this week. Did a lot on the fixture swings for certain teams. So we did some good stuff this week, and then finished off with a bit of silliness, which we all like. Well, some people
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, well, 400 people liked it enough to still be here. Either that, or they're like away from the screen, or like at work,
Yeah.
and they're in an intense like spreadsheet, and they haven't realised we're chatting shite in the background yet.
Yeah.
Anyway, Wes, it's been a pleasure. We'll chat again next week before the Game Week 5 deadline. If you don't want to miss it, you can turn alerts on to Fantasy Football Hub, or you can just subscribe. And another thing you can do, because we both tweet about it, Wes tweets a lot of FPL. FPL Heisenberg is where you'll find him, bottom corner there, and just below me, that's where you'll find me on Twitter. I am really having a hard time with the camera today. Go and follow us. Yeah, do us a favour, and we'll catch you next week. Yeah.